Hello and welcome to another BookTube video from me, Lauren. Hi! Today I am doing my all-time favourite book topic. I'm talking about Harry Potter. So there's a Harry Potter tag going around on BookTube at the moment. There's some questions to answer. I'm just going to get stuck straight in because chances are this video is probably going to be about 4 days long. So the first question is, what is your favourite book? So my favourite book out of the whole series, and I love them all dearly and have reread them all more than 10 times each, definitely. My favourite book is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I just love the tournament in it. I think it's really, really good. I love the competitiveness, all the sort of like backstories about the other schools. I love the fact that there's other magical schools and that what they bring to the story and how they're wearing different uniforms, and I love that, and I just love finding out who's going to do well on which tasks. And I think there's a bit of sort of like the fact that reality TV, that to me would be like what Harry Potter world's reality TV would be like. And I also think it's a really big turning point in this book series. It's when things start getting a bit dark. So I think the first 3 books could quite clearly be children's books, but from the 4th one onwards, that's when I think shit gets real, from the 4th one onwards. My favourite film. My favourite film out of the series is probably the second part of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Again, I love them all, but the second part of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, when it all just comes together, I think they did a really good job. There's some really like brilliant scenes in there that perhaps weren't in the books, but I really enjoy. One of them being when they're all having the assembly and Snape's there saying, if anyone's got any information about Harry Potter, then they need to step forward now, and somebody steps forward and it's Harry himself. And I just remember being like, yeah, when that was happening. Also, Ron is like hot in that film as well. He's like really beefy and beefed up, so that's always fun as well. The next question is, what's your least favourite book? So I don't have a least favourite. I love them all, but probably my least read book would be Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Just because I tend to, and I mean, I did reread them all from start to finish last year, and I will do every year probably for the rest of my life. But Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets has always been one I've sort of not reread as many times. I went through a stage of rereading Goblet of Fire like constantly, and Half-Blood Prince as well, and it's always fun to reread the first one as well because that's just where it all started. So Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, my least read, not my least favourite, but my least read. Part of the book or movie that made you cry. So in the book, me and my friend Emma always talk about this, how we were reading Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and when Dumbledore dies, we just had to simply close the book, put it down, move it away a bit, just have a little moment, and then we can go back to reading it. That bit, and it gets me crying every time I read it. I still feel so sad and so, also, when Ron and Hermione kiss for the first time, I think that's adorable in the books. It's so sweet, and that always brings a lump to my throat because it's just been it's just been meaning to happen for such a long time. In the film, the bit which I'm not sure if it's in the book actually, where at the end of the 6th film, when Dumbledore has died and everyone's holding their wand up, that's a real bit that makes me think, oh God, because it's so quiet and just unified. It's lovely. And also when Dobby dies in the film. In the book I was sad, but in the film it is just heartbreaking. So those are the bits that make me cry lots. If I could hook up with any character, who would it be? Big beefy ginger Ron. My favourite character, so I've got a few favourite characters. In the book, Dumbledore is a favourite. I love his backstory. I love how kind-hearted he is. I love his relationship with Harry. And when you find out on his backstory as well, he just seems such like a real person, and I just love him. In the films, I love Lavender Brown. She's just hilarious in the films. In the book, it sort of passed me by a bit. I mean, the whole wand thing is very funny, but in the films, she was just hilarious. And the girl who plays her, Jessie Cave, she just does it. She's got her down to a T, and I love her in the films. Other favourite characters, I love Luna. She's a nutter, and I love a nutter, so that's why I love Luna. And I also think Snape is such a good baddie, like the whole way through. He's just such a good character. It's not maybe he is a favourite character, but yeah, he's such a good baddie. Would I like the invisibility cloak, the elder wand, or the resurrection stone? I would definitely, hands down, go for the invisibility cloak. I'd just be happy to have any wand. And the resurrection stone, something about it just doesn't sit quite happily with me. So I'd definitely go for the invisibility cloak, and then you could proper like peep on people and be a bit nosy, which would be very fun as well. What house would I be in? I've worn this t-shirt especially for this moment. I'm certain I would be in Gryffindor. I'm certain of it. A lot of my friends think I'm a bit of a wimp, but I think I've got a secret sort of bravery that comes out when necessary, and I think that is a definite quality of somebody that's in Gryffindor. And I'm certain I'd be in Gryffindor. What would my patroness be? I'm not quite sure actually. Probably something that's like very thumpy, heavy on its feet. Maybe like a bit like my actual cat, or like a piglet or something a bit like go straight in there, a bit fast on their feet, but big butch thing, not butch, big. Just yeah, a piglet. I'll say a piglet. If you could meet any of the cast, who would it be? I would definitely, without a doubt, my number one person I would love to meet on all of the cast is the cat that plays Cruikshanks, because I love that cat and I love its little squishy face, and I would just love to meet and have a snuggle with that cat. So that is my number one cast member I would like to meet from Harry Potter. If you were in the Quidditch team, which position would you play? There is no doubt in my mind that I would definitely not be on the Quidditch team. So I don't even think I have to answer that question. I have not got a sporting bone in my body. I haven't got a competitive bone in my body. I would be useless. I'd quite happily sit at the sidelines with Luna and just have a laugh about it all. Was I happy with the ending? I was happy with the ending. I thought it all tied together quite nicely. The cheesy station scene, when I first read it, maybe I wasn't so happy, but coming back now, rereading it and watching the film of it, I do enjoy it, and I think it ties it up all nicely, and it doesn't leave any ambiguity of what's going to actually happen in the meantime. It's nice. Hermione and Ron end up together. Harry and Ginny end up together. Neville's the professor. It's a nice little snippet into the future, and I think it leaves it with enough time that things can happen in the meantime, in the period between the Battle of Hogwarts and Harry's kids going off to Hogwarts. So yeah, I was really happy with the ending. And the last question, how much does Harry Potter mean to me? Harry Potter means so much to me. I will talk about Harry Potter with anyone for days and days and days. I love it, my best friends love it, my dad loves it, and it's just something that I could just have a conversation with about forever. And when I read the first book, I read it when I was in year 6, so I was 11, and the first one, the second book was out, so I read the first book and the second book really quickly next to each other. And I was the same age as Harry when those books come out, and I just feel like I've sort of grown up with him really, and like I just love it, and the whole thing about it. I've queued at WH Smith's at midnight to get the next book. I've phoned in sick at work so I can sit reading Harry Potter all day, and I've just loved every moment of it. And me and my best friend were talking about whether we'd ever have anything like this in our lifetime again, anything that ever touched us as much as Harry Potter did. And I really truly don't think I will. Like the books just meant so much, and then the films as well, it's just extended it, and I just adore it, and I just think it's such a lovely thing to have and to be proud of as a British person. So yeah, that was my Harry Potter tag. I'd love to know what your answers to those questions are. So if you want to comment below and let me know, that would be wonderful. And yeah, thanks very much. Expecto Patronum! Bye.